So the Ashes of Creation community is really mad. But we knew all about that. We covered it pretty extensively on this channel in the past few days. But so many of you guys have told me to check out this video made by Kira, because apparently this guy is very well connected with the people inside of Intrepid Studios. So I'm gonna hear what he has to say. I watched a video of him in the past and it was a banger, so I hope this one would be just as informative, because I really want some light being shed on some of the problems I have with the game. So I'm gonna let him say his piece, and then I'm gonna add my opinions on top of it. By the way, thank you guys so much for letting me know that I said Intrepid instead of Intrepid Studios. I don't know why I said that, so I'm trying to work on it here.
Okay, what up, friendos? Welcome back. This is a really difficult topic to talk about, because I recorded a video about Ashes of Creation earlier today, and I was just talking about like the drama, just having a laugh, you know, about the fact there's been a delay with the director's letter, the Stephen Sharif letter about Ashes of Creation in the future.
I wonder why. That's interesting. Anyone who's been on Reddit in the past 2 weeks already knows the answer. I think that Steven himself is starting to realize that the cope isn't going to hold anymore, and he got to do something fast. I think they are eventually going to pivot, because if they don't, this entire ship is going to sink. I really think they need to take some drastic measures here, and well, first, starting by saying, hey, like, we were wrong. The entire system clearly isn't working. We're gonna go back to the drawing table, and we're gonna cook something else. And it's probably gonna take them 10 more years, but at the end of the day, we all want a good product, right? So if they actually take some time to think and go into a new direction, which we all know and love, then I think all of us would be satisfied. Even if it takes them like 5 more years to develop, which honestly would be horrendous, but at the end of the day, we all want a better MMORPG to play. So if they make this bold move, I think most people would be fine with it. But I may be wrong about that.
This was supposed to happen in January. It's now January 30th. They've now said it's not happening until February 13th.
Wow, a month's delay.
Of course, this hit MMORPG subreddit. First comment, it's a scam, as it always is.
Of course, the classic.
Subreddit, whenever Ashes is mentioned, it's a scam, it's a scam. And then obviously the Ashes subreddit is, you know, it's got to be studied how the Ashes community went from like so toxically positive to the point where there was no dissenting opinion, to now where every single comment is negative, bordering on like...
And that exactly what I said would happen. And you know what's funny about this? No one at the time believed me, and I got dislike bombed on every video about Ashes I've ever made. Every video that criticized Ashes, when I first started criticizing the game, was completely dislike bombed. You can literally go back on my channel and check this one for yourself. It was so funny. All of the Ashes haters, Ashes copers, just came out of their rabbit holes, or rat holes, I don't know, and just started attacking me. Because I was too much of a visionary for them. I saw where the road is heading, and I said, hey, this is not a good direction. And everyone was mad with me. And you know what? To some degree, I can understand. Because we all want a better MMORPG experience, and we all want a new MMO, because right now everyone is playing the same thing over and over again. We can see that with classic World of Warcraft. We can see this with the same old games that existed for like millions of years, like Final Fantasy XIV, Guild Wars 2. We don't have anything new. Every new MMO dies, right? Like New World is the latest addition to the graveyard, and we all want a new experience. Just that was a nasty voice crack. But at the same time, it is what it is. I understand. So I didn't take their insults to heart, really, because I understand their frustrations. But the problem is, since you had so much toxic positivity, you created a blockage of opinions, because all that has risen to the top was like, oh, this game is going to be a banger, this game is going to be good, this system is incredible, Steven is a god. And you had all of this rancor, like an animosity built up, and you didn't even see it because you were on top of it. But now that the entire like casket has been blown away, right? It was a barrel of explosives. Now it's off. It's completely off. and we all see the negative side of it because the negativity just kept on piling up and it wasn't addressed. So now that's all you see on Reddit. Even the people who completely usher this game coming like the comeuppance of the Messiah now we're lost. They're completely lost. They are realizing that, hey, this game is actually garbage. The disillusion has clearly settled in, and people are waking up. And to be honest, it's kind of funny to me to see because anyone with a functional frontal lobe with half a brain cell could have seen this coming a mile away. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm happy that people are starting to wake up and calling it for what it is. I really hope that one day Ashes would pivot and actually take this game in a new direction. But to be honest, I don't think that's the case. With Steven being so, I don't know how to say it really. He's not capable of taking any criticism whatsoever unless it's like, it's somewhat positive or at the very least a slap on the wrist. That's the only comments he responds to, and even that, he uses like ChatGPT or something. I don't really know. I covered it in the last video. If you want to see that, it was so cringe.
Toxic, right? Nobody in this thread, apart from the ones who were downvoted at the bottom, has a positive word to say about this, and they're all super doom and gloom about the game. And I'm about to not help that because I recorded a video talking about this. I was literally just opening it in Adobe Premiere to edit the video, and then somebody DM'd me and they're like, oh, I have information about Ashesofcreation that you're going to want to hear. And then told me the craziest shit.
No way.
If true, is like a cataclysmic meltdown. Like,
please tell me it's that one comment on Reddit that said that the 250 employees at Intrepid Studios are actually like Steven's personal assistants. Like, one is the chef, one is the personal chocolate fountain guy. I mean, I read this comment and I just laughed, dude. It was so funny. But at the same time, like, yeah, what the hell is going on? How do you have a 250 fully fledged developers that in 10 years did nothing? And I know they didn't start with like 250, but now you have them. So how progress is this slow? Again, they're using an engine that does not belong to them. I feel like I need to constantly remind people that because they don't understand the significance of it. If you build your own engine, sure, fine. Take 10 years. It's okay. I understand. Building your own engine from scratch is one of the most difficult things you can do. But you're using an engine that already has all the tools you need. So what's taking you 10 years? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Even if you made a jump from Unreal Engine 4 to 5, it's fine. You have the tools. Just do the job. It's so crazy that you have zones that look so dull. It's a mind-boggling. You have all of these problems that can be easily fixed inside of the game. You have like botting, RMT, dupes, just a bunch of random sweats griefing one another and griefing lower level players. Like all of these systems and the structures, they don't make any sense. And it doesn't even relate to the engine. It's just like their mentality in Intrepid Studios. It's so weird, man. It's just so off to me. And they're obfuscating everything. They're not being transparent with us. And then whenever Steven has to make a comment, he just type it into ChatGPT and they'll just paste and just leave it alone. And I don't know what he's going to do.
People are going to lose their fucking minds. And I don't say this to like stir the pot or anything or be like, oh,
yes, you are.
I know something you don't know and anything like that.
Then why say it?
The reason I say this, there's two reasons. One, if it turns out to be not true, I've not done any harm here, right? It's just Kira just talking shit. It's just a rumor with no details. It's just me saying those words, a rumor without me telling you exactly
I'm interested. I hope he says that.
But two, if it is true, then hopefully somebody who was in this meeting and knows what I'm talking about comes forward and, not publicly, obviously, to me privately and allows me to further substantiate this story and go public so that everybody knows what's going on. So, if the thing that was sent to me is incorrect, no harm, no foul. I've not done anything that impacts my reputation or the company. But if it is true, then maybe you guys get the information that you need. I don't know if that's going to happen, but either way, if it isn't true, no worries. And if it is, you'll find out even without me within the next couple of weeks. It's nothing to this development letter. It's much bigger than that. But Obviously, if I put my reputation on the line and I say, you know,
Imagine if we're wasting all of this time and in a month from now, Steven would be like, you know what? $200 alpha early access packs. What do you say, boys? And oh man, this would be a field day for me. I would have actually liked that. Okay, that would have been funny. It's a wishful thinking, but it's not going to happen. I really wonder what he's talking about, though. I really hope he gives them some clues because that's insane. He makes it sound like it's the most crazy thing ever.
Somebody, current or former employee, has said this, I've obtained these documents, this thing is happening. It's because I've done the requisite checks, right? I've talked to multiple people, I've got their credentials, I know what's happened, and then I put the story out there because I know, it's not something that could be made up and somebody else is doing. The reason I believe what's been told to me is at least somewhat credible is because this person has previously sent me things that were not known to the public that then turned out to be true. And they proven have incredible access to the information that I've provably seen, right?
So
not in just
verified
what they've
personnel.
told me.
Imagine if Steven goes on a vendetta to find that one guy in his studios that's leaking information. And that would have been funny. That would have been funny. Just Steven going around throwing out information to see, like, who's the rat. Damn. That would be kind of dope.
Has then happened just factually, but also things that they've shown me that, hasn't been seen by the public. So with all that nonsense where I've just said nothing all out of the way, obviously people are losing their mind because the development letter is delayed by
so he's not going to tell us?
And there was no, as far as I'm aware, there was no firm date on this given. But I will just say, the reason why there's so many people so visibly, upset about Ashes of Creation within their community is because these are, the real fans of the game, right? These are the people that have supported, they've been around, they've stuck around through the hard times, they've got the game now, and they like the game still. They've supported this project, they put their emotions, their time, their money into this project, and they've been supportive the whole time. And then now they've got something and it's real in front of them. And they've enjoyed it. But they feel like they're being ignored and that the thing is being ruined or not managed properly.
So, of course they are. Steven doesn't care about anyone's opinion. You're here to be farmed. You're here to be milked. Literally, Steven does not care about a single thing that any one of us says. Haters, lovers, it doesn't matter. Steven only cares about what he wants to do. If he wants to do the most ridiculous systems that doesn't function in the real world, okay? Well, and in the real world, I mean in the real world of gaming, he can do that. Clearly, the game is garbage. Nobody's almost enjoying it. A bunch of people, honestly, a handful of people actually enjoys PvP-based MMOs. Again, I need to constantly remind you, no PvP-based MMO has stood this test of time, except for EVE Online. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, it's only because EVE has the proper structure to be functioned and as this game. When people donated for Ashes, they thought it's going to be a PvE game. And that's why so many people backed it up. If Steven would have told everyone, this is going to be a fully fledged PvP-based MMO, nobody would have bet it. Nobody would have donated. Because they thought it's going to be one giant big immersive world, people have subscribed to it. But yeah, unfortunately, that's not the case. And if you somehow have the delusion of PvP gamers uniting and actually making this game viable, you're wrong. MMOs are being held by PvE gamers. That's it. It's a fact. They're being held by the casuals because you need a steady cash flow going in, and the PvP community is so small. It's a literal fraction. Even if they whale out on keys, it won't be enough. It just won't. So you need us, the casual Andes or the semi-casual Andes, to actually pay for the game and pay for the subscription for the game to hold its head above waters and actually be profitable. And if you prey on us, and if you make a system that rewards people that invest 12 hours a day into a game and punish the casual that only has 2 or 3 hours a day to play, you're cooked. You're done. This game is gone. Rip Bozo.
So they're the best fans to have when things are going good. but they're also the worst fans to have when things start going badly because they're so invested in what the thing is. And if these people go away, like this is really what Ashes needs to massively pay attention to here, is that these people, they're only here and being negative and talking about the project in this way because they really care. And maybe sometimes they don't show it in the best way, the most helpful way, but they're showing that they care by doing this. You know, I'm not saying it's positive or anything, but it means that they're invested. So what the Ashes director letter says is that they're recognizing the problems that are most impacting people. And you know what's funny?
True.
Is that I said before the game released on Steam that this game is, for all intents and purposes now, a released product and should be treated as
absolutely
such. It's actually funny
absolutely
that the biggest concerns of the community even prove that statement to be true.
Yep.
Because while this is an alpha, the reason people are upset with the game is not like it's an alpha and it needs more content. They're upset because the game that they're playing, not testing, which we all know was going to be the case.
True.
People are buying this game to play it as a game, not to test it.
He's cooking, let him.
If people are still of the illusion that people are buying Ashes and they're just putting hundreds of hours in to test the game, they're not. They're playing a game that they're enjoying. And this...
Thank you, brother. Finally, someone says the truth. I mean, when you release a product on Steam for 50 doubloons, you're gonna get people mad if that product ain't good. Because that is a ludicrous amount of money for an unfinished product. Now, again, we can use the Baldur's Gate 3 argument where it costed, I think, even higher than that for the first act only, and even that was incomplete. But at the end of the day, you saw really good foundations for an insanely good game. And look, time proved right. The game is one of the best games ever made. So the first act alone had way more content than Ashes. Ashes doesn't have any solid ground to stand on. I think that at the end of the day, if people paid $50 and they got a solid game that shows promise, not a perfect game, no, I don't advocate for it to be perfect right now, of course. But if they got solid foundations, they would have been satisfied. If the game showed promise, amazing. But again, 10 years of development, and we got nothing. The game looks garbage, it operates like trash, the entire direction is just completely bogus, and we get no answers. So, at which point we stop and say, hey man, something's fishy going on. This is it.
Proves it, because all the biggest complaints that the community are complaining about are things that are stopping them enjoying playing the game, not stopping them testing the game. So the concerns that we hear most clearly include the impact of RMT bots and cheating on fairness and progression. Fairness is one of those things in games where it doesn't have to be fair. It just has the illusion of fairness. The reason I say the illusion is because it's kind of like how pay to win works in many ways. In theory, pay to win doesn't impact you if you're just an average casual player in a game where there's like a long vertical progression ceiling. Because if you're just a guy who plays like 2 hours a day and doesn't pay to win, but somebody else does pay to win and they get stuff, in your brain you're like, that's unfair, and it's right. You're completely correct.
Yeah, it is unfair.
But realistically, if there was no pay to win in the game whatsoever and RMT and bots were completely banned, the guy who sits there playing for 14 hours a day in his fucking mother's basement is still going to basically have such a huge advantage over you that pay to win or not.
But he earned it, not paid for it. This point is kind of lost on me, brother. The fact that pay to win is a shortcut, and it's a massive shortcut, is a huge problem. Because now you're at a financial disadvantage compared to a guy that can completely whale out. And you can claim that, hey, if someone's rich enough, he can, afford to play 12 hours a day probably, and you would be right. But still, he wasted that time. And should I say invested is the correct word here. And he earned it. But if someone opened his wallet and actually got a shortcut, that's a problem. Because you can go the other way around too. You can have someone that only has 2 or 3 hours to play, and a guy that has 12 hours to play, and he's the free-to-play guy, and he invests so much time into the game, but the guy that only has 2 hours to play just opened his wallet and completely just blew him out of the water. So this is insanely bad. This is the complete other end of the spectrum, and we need to take that into consideration while we're speaking about this. So his point is kind of lost on me. I don't get what he's trying to say. Pay to win is pay to win. I'll always say that. Pay to win is garbage in any game whatsoever. And also, pay for convenience is pay to win.
I
just want to make this clear.
It's still not fair because they've put in so much more time than you. That obviously they can, fucking throw you around like Harambe. But
they earned it.
Obviously, in your brain, somebody paying for that advantage versus playing all day makes you feel much worse. It's kind of like the perceived
because it's
fairness.
different.
But it's one of those things where if people feel like the game isn't fair, like if their time's been disrespected because other people are gaining unfair advantages, they just check out immediately. Like the game's just done for them. It completely kills the entire, their entire mentality of being able to progress in the game and spend their time meaningfully in that system. Then, of course, PvP corruption system. Can't really comment on the PvP because I don't play the game. Issues surrounding caravans, crates, and risk versus reward gameplay. Content and system bugs that interrupt gameplay. Performance instability problems that pull you out of the world. So again, all things that are just stop you playing and enjoying the game, right?
True, but this is all surface levels. These are all surface level issues that can be easily fixed. The problem is with the structure of the game itself. The entire PvP system ain't going to fly, Chief. Nobody want to be farmed. Nobody wants to be a plankton for the whales. I said this in every single video. And I mean, it's just reality. You lose the casual fan base, you lose the game. It's over. So you need to understand that this game needs to be about PvE, not PvP. If you want to make a fully fledged PvP based MMO, it's going to crumble.
And then they just go on to basically say,
and they're not going to pivot.
Ashes of Creation, we want it to be a living, breathing, player-driven world, a big MMORPG. Game development's difficult, of course, yeah, it very much is, especially when you're making an MMO.
Dude, who cares game development is difficult, man? You got millions from us. Just give us a good product. Like, dog, what are we talking about? Do you think I care that development is difficult? You got so many millions. Who cares? Who cares? You had all that time, all that money, and you can't even deliver us a good product. Even a functional one. It's so cringe. Like, what is he talking about, man?
Especially when you're doing so with public money in the public eye. Because, realistically, this is always...
Like, Jesus, man, they actually think we're gonna sit there and cry for their development team. It's so frustrating. I hate these people so much, man. It's crazy. Not Intrepid specifically, but, like, every single one that says, oh, you need to be considerate of us. There's so many companies out there that says the same thing over and over again. They think we care, man. Like, we don't. Like, we truly don't. Give us a good product. That's it. You have all that money. You have all that development time. Just make us a good product. That's it. If you can't do that, that's on you, boo-boo.
It's going to go one way, and that is the minute you start making mistakes and lose the faith of the community, they're just going to turn on you. Like, it is what it is. And in a way...
Hey, said my thing.
I feel bad for everybody involved because you could see this coming a mile off. If the game didn't deliver quicker and amazingly, we were always going to get to this point. It's always the case when a community is very involved, like super, super involved, that first they... super defend the thing up until the narrative starts to shift, and then what happens, as we've seen on the subreddit, is that they become the biggest critics and nothing's good enough. And then you just have to hope that the game starts doing super well and delivers much quicker to get those people back on side. Otherwise, this is the type of thing that can kill a live service product even in its infancy. If your core fan base are the most toxic people, are the most negative people, are the biggest critics of your thing, nothing positive can be posted about this before everyone downvotes them and calls them like a paid shill or a fucking PR intern or something. If this is your fan base on social media, a new player comes along and goes, right, let's check this Ashes of Creation thing. Oh, new MMO. Oh, the player base retention's not too bad. It's an alpha, but, seems like some people are enjoying it. Ooh, 62% review score. That's not great.
He's right about that.
What's going on here? Let's go check their social media. Oh, everyone on the MMO subreddit's calling it a scam. Oh, everyone on the game subreddit is downvoting everything and saying that it's mismanaged and fucking they're all just going crazy.
Yeah, I don't think the average person would go that far. But I 100% agreed that MMOs live and die by word to mouth. So basically, if a game is popular enough, so I actually have a really good example for that. You know how World of Warcraft is still considered to be the best MMO out there, even though you and I already know the game is pretty much dead. So the reason everyone still talks about this game is because back in the glory days, everyone talked about it. People who didn't even know about gaming heard about World of Warcraft. It was that crazy. So when a game goes into like from people just speaking about this and it goes so far and wide, you're gonna have a banger regardless of if the product is actually good or not. And that's why World of Warcraft is still holding waters and still considered like one of the best MMOs out there, or still the best, even though that's clearly not the case anymore. But yeah, if Ashes won't have like positive Steam reviews, if it won't have community that talks about this game in a positive light, it's gonna there's a trickle down effect where everything just goes down slowly, and then the entire thing is just going to be one pile of negativity. And it's going to trickle down from YouTube, the big streamers that are going to clown on this game. Is going to reach Reddit, and of course, obviously Steam and all that stuff. And once a player can't find a single source of positive feedback on this game, they will never purchase it. Never. So that's why it's so important to actually make a good product and make sure you're communicating well. Or just make a good product, to be honest. It usually does the entire work on its own.
Over every small detail. Obviously, this type of shit massively hurts the first impressions that somebody would have coming into the game. A lot of people might say, oh, but it's an alpha, so who cares? How many times do games actually come back from a really bad first impression? Because a lot of people seem to think because No Man's Sky did it, that it's just like a common.
No Man's Sky is a literal unicorn. It's such an incredible game right now. But everyone knows, I was around at the time. I was actually looking forward to this game and was thoroughly disappointed when I found out it was in the state that it was. But actually, Halo Games, I believe that's how the developers of this game called, they made this product into the best thing ever, and they did it quickly. They went with patches after patch, like patch after patch after patch. It was so rapid, people even couldn't keep up, and every patch was a banger. So, and free, by the way, like entirely free. So that's what kind of drew people in again, and it took some time, but they actually got to a positive score. I remember that day. I was there. It was crazy. So recovering from a negative first impression isn't impossible, but it's really difficult. And Ashes, I don't think would ever be able to deliver on that because Intrepid Studios don't have any idea what they're doing. Look at the snail pace they're going in right now. Do you really think they can give us rapid patches that are good and filled with content for free? No, that's not gonna happen, Chief. That's not going to be the case.
But it's actually much more common that games don't recover if this type of thing is left to fester. And with a game like an MMO being such a long developmental process, you've basically got like months and months and months of accumulation, years of accumulation of these people getting more and more frustrated. And how are you going to turn that round in a reasonable amount of time before those people just either become so toxic that the place is a fucking swamp, or they all go away, right? It's just an absolute mess. That being said, I think I probably rambled on enough here. Obviously, I'd love to be able to tell you what I'd heard.
Tell us the secret stuff.
I could verify it was 100% true and wasn't me just like potentially
just say allegedly
unreliable information.
You're
out
covered,
there
man.
Public.
Just say it.
Because obviously, I don't want to damage the company if this is untrue. If somebody's just, even though they were,
to be honest, you can't damage the company more than they have.
Reliable in the past. If they've just made something up, then
they
I don't
need
your
help.
Responsible for something bad happening with the company or impacting public perception in some way. And of course, for a much more selfish reason, because I like to have a good record of reporting things and knowing that I've done my due diligence and
that's
everything's
fair.
above
That's
board.
fair.
That being the case,
I respect that.
Hopefully that's something that I can get to you, or better yet, I guess I actually hope that what I've been told isn't true, because I don't want it to be, but there we go.
Man.
Thanks for watching. Sorry about the cryptic nature. Just is what it is. I could have just not said anything, but again, I am dangling the bait to see if true somebody gets in contact and gives me the ability to move forward with this. But if not, hopefully the developer's note comes out and everybody gets what they want, and the game continues to progress. Because for whatever people want to say, I'm a drama llama. I like talking about things like this because it interests me.
So do I.
But at the same time, I still want games like Ashes of Creation to succeed because I like MMOs. And even though Ashes is a little bit too softcore for me, like I prefer my MMOs full loop PvP, a la Darkfall and Mortal Online, things like that, Ultima Online.
Damn.
I still think because they're so hardcore and historically have failed because they're developed by like 3 people shitting in a bucket, it would be nice to have something like Ashes where big emphasis on PvP, social sandbox, politics, guild wars, things like that. Having something like that come out and do well.
Yeah, because if all of the 3 games you mentioned failed, this one is sure to succeed. I'm sure of it. I mean, guys, come on. Like, what are we talking about here? This game is never going to fly. Like, it feels so weird. There's a really good video of Josh Strife Hayes saying the same thing, but people listen to him more because he's handsome. But yeah, I mean, whenever I say it, people just call me a clown. And you know what? They're actually right to do so, because even I love Josh Strife Hayes videos more than mine. But at the end of the day, we're both right. So eat that.
Would be good. I'd enjoy playing it. Obviously, I don't play in the alpha because I don't want to play an alpha. I don't want to play a game that's going to wipe my progress, especially one that takes, hundreds of hours to get to end game, doing the same content repetitively over and over again to get there, and then have a bunch of exploiters and dupers and bugs and an impending wipe. So I don't play the game, but I am interested in the game. That's why I was making videos about it in like fucking 2019. But for some reason, the Ashes community think I want the game to fail and I have no interest in playing it. Obviously untrue, but there we go. Either way, thanks for watching. As always, check the links in the video description. I've got a promotion for you.
Yeah, great video. It seems like this is the end of the video. I mean, I'm going to leave a link in the description. You guys can check it out for yourself. Give it a like. It was really informative, actually. I really hoped he would tell us what's up, but you know what? I guess we just have to wait until he actually manages to verify this information. I respect him for that. He has integrity. I actually really like that. But at the same time, I'm dying to know what the hell he's talking about, because it makes... I mean, he makes it seems like Ashes is an actual ticking time bomb. Like, he's talking about information that can potentially collapse the company or whatever. So I'm really interested in knowing what the hell is going on. I mean, imagine if Steven just blows everything up and he says, damn, you got baited, fools. He takes the money and run away. Wow. That would have been amazing. It's like he drops the wall behind him, and it was actually like Hawaii all along. He wasn't even in the US. He just, constantly taking siphoning money, like siphoning funds from the players just to feed his, I don't know, like whatever needs he has. And oh man, that would be glorious. That would actually be glorious. I would watch that stream, won't you? But yeah, it seems like everything is on the same path, going straight to the dumpster. Ashes is destroying its own reputation in such a pace I've never seen before in my life. But at the same time, after seeing Steven's response, I'm not surprised. This man clearly isn't capable of taking any criticism whatsoever, and also, he doesn't know how to respond to one, which actually is impressive from someone that should manage your biggest MMO, right? He literally took millions from the players. No, that ain't gonna happen, Chief. But yeah, I guess that's everything for today's video. Make sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments. There's so many things to say, but we have plenty more videos to come. If anything of this information is slightly true, I'm 100% going to cover it in the future. You'll bet on it.